Welcome to episode 329 of the Working Fans Podcast. Check us out over at patreon.com/Working Fans Podcast. Check out our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Hit that notification bell so you know when we go live. And we are live right now with our 2026 prediction show. Last week, we went over kind of how we thought the year ended up in 2025, but we've switched the calendar over. We're starting anew. We're going to start right at the top. Male Wrestler of the Year. Will it be 5 years in a row, Dave?
The Male Wrestler of the Year. No, it will be Gunther, the Ring General. I predict a big year for him. I think he's going to retire Brock Lesnar and AJ Styles. In fact, in thinking of this pick, I kind of actually wished I'd changed my pick to Gunther as Wrestler of the Year last year because I thought about it. I'm like, he was world champion a couple times. He retired Goldberg. He retired Cena. And I think we all kind of slept on him. Like, that's probably Wrestler of the Year. But I think he's going to do another big thing this year. So we'll get it right this year.
Okay, my view of it is, Cody's been on top of WWE for a couple of years. It's been good.
Yeah.
But has it hit that next level? I don't necessarily know. So I'm thinking Roman Reigns comes back and makes a splash. I feel like maybe Triple H kind of puts him at the top again, and we have like a Roman-led WWE. Maybe you're going to Roman and Gunther at some point, but I've got to go with Roman Reigns as Male Wrestler of the Year.
1-1 at WrestleMania too, so we'll see what happens.
Female Wrestler of the Year 2026. It's tough when you've got the whole year ahead of you because you're just looking at who's at the top of those picks. And who did you go with as your female wrestler of the year?
I have a couple wild card picks. I'll tell you my wild card pick, other wild card pick on Patreon. But the one I ended up going with was Willow Nightingale, who I didn't even watch Dynamite last night. But spoiler, Joe, I'm sorry because I saw social media.
I saw it as well.
She's the TBS champion. She's the women's tag team champion. I have a feeling this is going to be a big year for her. Just with her personality, the way she connects with people. I think Willow.
Yeah, she's my pick as well. I saw that win last night, and I just feel like there's big things ahead for her. Yeah. There's big things ahead on this episode. If you stay to the end for the Patreon portion, we're going to give you some alternate picks for these categories, some runners up, but we're not talking runners up right now as we're talking Tag Team of the Year 2026. I got the Babes of Wrath. I think they won those first AEW Tag Team Championships. I think Tony Khan has heard a lot of the talk about maybe having too many titles out there, and he is going to solidify this title with their current champions, and they are going to be that top team of 2026.
I have not been overly excited about tag team wrestling in general, so I'm just going to go what I call a safe pick. I'm going to continue with an old favorite. FTR gets it done.
That's not bad. We are going to Breakout Star of the Year, and I might have used him from a previous year, but I am going Javon Evans.
Great pick. I'm going to go Broad Breaker, who I could have used as well for a previous year. Broad Breaker, though, I think as early as January could be the world champion. So I think this is going to be Broad Breaker's big year. For all I know, he could be one of the big matches at WrestleMania. I think Braun delivers.
You think he's got 2 years of a breakout star in him?
He's going to be arguably Wrestler of the Year, and he's not my second pick either, but he is going to be arguably Wrestler of the Year. So he takes it to another level, and he's going to be Breakout Superstar of the Year.
Honestly, I thought Javon really kind of, broke out some this year.
Sure.
But I feel like with him ending up on Raw now, which we'll talk about that probably a little bit in the Patreon. I feel like he's just going to make a splash to a much bigger audience than that saw him on NXT before. We've got 2 categories left.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at Company of the Year. Who is going to be Company of the Year in 2026?
I didn't pick AEW this past year. I felt like they had a lot of momentum going, though, but I just felt like I didn't quite see it yet. I went with TNA because of the stuff they're doing. I think TNA is going to have a big year. I think WWE will have a good year, but I think AEW turns the corner this year and does go to that next level. I think AEW gets it done.
See, I'm seeing TNA taking it to the next level. If everything works out right, and I'm hoping for it, I'm seeing TNA on that AMC. They're going to have this great year of goodwill going forward. Hopefully they'll fix some of the booking mistakes that really plagued them and had people questioning them in the end of 2025. So I'm feeling good about TNA this year.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about more on the Patreon. I feel about TNA.
And we're gonna the last regular category we have, and we might do some Javon Evans talk before the Patreon, but pay-per-view PLE of the year. This isn't easy to call because we don't know any of the booking going into these shows. Obviously, WrestleMania will probably be a standout. SummerSlam usually is. Survivor Series usually is, but it took a hit this year. And I'm going to continue with my TNA pick. And it's going to be a big year for TNA.
Yeah.
And when we get to that Bound for Glory pay-per-view later in the year, it's going to be that exclamation point on a good year for TNA. That's my early pick for the show I think will stand out this year.
I'm going to play it safe. I will go with the Royal Rumble. I always like the Royal Rumble. It always delivers to a certain point. I know they'll be in Saudi Arabia this year. I don't think that takes away from anything. I think Royal Rumble is going to be one of the top events. Will it be the event? Right now, I have no idea, so I'm going to go Royal Rumble.
If anything, the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, it adds to that spectacle. Yeah. There's talk of Chris Jericho coming back because as we currently stand, I believe his AEW deal is up. Yes. We're going to talk a couple random wrestling news items. Javon Evans was promoted to Raw this week. How are you feeling about this? Because honestly, I thought it was a little early for him, only because he didn't really achieve any championships in NXT. And I would have liked to have seen him with, a belt down there doing something before moving up. But I feel like they are really high on this guy right now.
The fans vote for these awards, but NXT had their year at awards, and Javon Evans actually made Wrestler of the Year down there, which I thought was just kind of funny because I like Javon. I thought he had a great year, but I'm like, he didn't have a better year than Oba. He didn't have a better year than Trick Williams. He didn't have a better year than Ricky Starks down there. None of those guys. So Ricky's safe.
He stood out. I think it's the connection with the people. And it's wild to see. It seems like Oba, Trick, and Javon are all going up around the same time. Is that a testament to Javon's connection with the fans?
Yeah, I mean, Javon has something special. Another guy that has something special who's not under contract to WWE yet, but, this isn't even a guy I'm going to pick out for Breakout, but Leon Slater. I think it's funny how much we're seeing him on WWE broadcasts, even main roster shows. I think career-wise, this guy looking pretty positive right now for Leon Slater.
Any other, wrestling news kind of catch your eye? Any stories?
It's hard because, with the holidays and everything, and there was a lot of tape shows. We just got some live shows this week. I didn't watch Dynamite, obviously. I saw the Will thing. The Usos winning the tag titles again and being solidified as tag team champions on Raw. I mean, that's interesting to see Jay back there. Jay had arguably a breakout singles year, but it didn't continue. I think it's interesting to see him back in tags, and I think it'll be interesting to see where they go in the future.
I didn't expect them to get their titles back. I was surprised by that. It makes sense because it's not like I saw AJ Styles and Dragon Lee holding on to those tag team championships forever, but getting it back on the Usos so soon.
There is an ambulance match this Friday on SmackDown, too, between Aleister Black and Damian Priest. That should be interesting. As we record this. So
yeah, they're bringing some New Year's stuff. I'll have to watch Dynamite, see what AEW has for us.
Yeah.
Overall,
Monday on Raw, we'll have Braun Breaker versus CM Punk for that world title on the year anniversary of Netflix. So that should be the big show to look forward to, I think.
Now, looking back at a year of Raw on Netflix, what has been your thought about it? It's definitely a new place for the stuff to go.
Yeah. People aren't as
it's a big association for them.
I think people aren't necessarily excited about it as much because the company, I think, kind of pumped the brakes a little bit. They lost a little momentum this year. But overall, if you were to look at it objectively, I think, and compare it to when it was on cable, for me, myself, I like the pacing better on a Netflix. If you're not watching on Netflix, because it's hard for you to go on to Netflix and, it's habit viewing. But I say if you compare it to the two, the show's a little bit shorter, and I like a more condensed show personally.
Yeah, they're free from those restrictions that regular TV gives you. And, it's given us some wild moments. I heard that some classic WWE stuff is moving to Netflix now they're going to be coming off of Peacock. So it's interesting to see where things are. a really good year in wrestling. I'm expecting big things for 2026. Before we go to the Patreon portion of the show, and guys, we're doing it a little less today because it is a holiday week. Before we play that commercial and get to the extra Patreon stuff, wild card pick. Chris Jericho returns to WWE and retires by the end of the year. MJF has a solid year on top as AEW champion, and this is the year that kind of solidifies him. I'm just making interesting picks that when we look back in December, I can see how far off we were. You got a wild card pick for us, Dave. Something out of the back of the bread truck.
I will say it's probably not going to happen, so that's why it's wild. I'll say a TNA wrestler wins a main roster world championship.
Ooh, in WWE.
WWE. And also a little more, I'll say Dominic Mysterio is world champion.
Oh, wow. So Dave got it all out of the back of the bread truck. I've got the pallet built. We are going to play a commercial, and then we're going to come back with some alternate picks, maybe some other fun. We'll see what we got. We didn't plan this, but I'll tell you who plans every bit of his book is Vinny Berry.
Read about the Northern Wrestling Federation in the book presented by Russellville.com, The Pro Wrestling Vault, Volume 2. Hear the story of Roger Ruffin, the man who trained Carl Anderson, the Monster Abyss, Jordan Clearwater, Chris Harris, and Jillian Hall.
Plus 45 other short stories, including Jazz, Bobby Eaton, Kamala, Thunder Rosa, Mario Mancini, Scott Casey, PJ Black, Kerry Morton, Sal Renaro, Jeremiah Plunkett, Colby Carino, Bam Bam Malone, and many others.
Get your book today at Russellville.com. Russellville. It's where wrestling lives.